Hello and welcome to this, I guess.
Welcome to a thing.
We're doing another thing.
Hey,
We're going to talk about DS
you
things.
know how all those times where we go on the internet and like make fun of like websites lists about game systems or just things?
Now it's your turn.
Yeah, now you get to make fun of our shitty opinions.
Yay.
Alright. So today we're doing our top 20 DS games. These are in no particular order, although we do have a structure to this list of, I guess, of some sort.
This
I
is
don't know.
also a collective list.
We thought of something. This is also a collective list, as opposed to our typical each person has their own list. We actually came up with this together based on all of our favorites pooled together. So, Jack, you're first, actually. You're the one
Awesome.
that's going to be talking about our first game, so let's go.
Let's get right
right
in. The first game on our list is Yoshi's Island DS. I'm like the only one that's going to talk about this one because I think I'm the only one of us that's played it. A lot of people don't like this game as much as the original, and that's true. That's completely fair. That's not as good as the original. But and also it's actually not a remake, unlike what some people think. It's actually a full-on sequel. But it's still a very solid 2D platformer. Admittedly, it has been quite a while since I've played it, but I do remember that it didn't have the greatest music, but I do remember that it has some pretty kick-ass level design and also has variety in the babies that you carry, each with their own unique ability, which is really cool. The levels are really varied and enjoyable. Yeah, it's a pretty solid sequel in my opinion. It's a hell of a lot better than Yoshi's New Island. You can say that much. I think it's worth checking out if you haven't played it and you happen to enjoy the original Yoshi's Island. So go do that, I guess, or don't. I'm not your mother.
Alright, so the next game we're going to talk about real quick is Sonic Rush Adventure. Sonic Rush is good, but I'm going to talk specifically about Rush Adventure because it is one of the few Sonic games, in my personal opinion, that manages to do different gameplay styles right. It has your typical Sonic 2D platforming, but you also have these ship segments because you have to sail across the ocean and go to different islands, which is how you get to the different levels of the game. And these segments where you play as different ships, for the most part, are actually pretty enjoyable. You have a little jet ski kind of boat, or not boat, board that you kind of surf, that you can surf on, do tricks and shit going off stuff, you catch rings. There's an underwater submarine that you shoot shit. I'm forgetting I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's 4. I know there's one that's a slower ship that is on the surface that you shoot things down with, and I can't remember the last one, but they are all actually pretty fun. And not only can you find the main levels in the ocean this way, you can also find a couple dozen hidden island bonus levels. One of those actually is a complete remake of it's not remake, but it's a complete level design wise the same thing as the first level of the first Sonic Rush, which I thought was a cool callback. The plot is basically pirates basically, but inserted into the Sonic universe. But it's fun. It has some pretty cheesy but enjoyable writing, and if they're going to do different gameplay styles, I want to see more of that. Good game.
A lot of people like to complain about the ship segments in the game, and personally I never really had that much of a problem with them. I found them I don't necessarily go out of my way to play them, and if I ever replay the game, I pretty much just go to the stage select and pick the levels. But I don't really consider them a bad addition to the game, and overall I do think the game is really good. In retrospect, I'm because spoiler alert, we have a handful of games that have like multiple slots in like one spot. I'm kind of wondering why we didn't just mention the entire Rush trilogy, but whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
But
a good game though.
anyway, it is a good game.
Hey Landon, it's your turn to talk about a game.
You're not my mom.
Yes, I am. Go to your room.
Okay.
But you just said earlier when you were talking about Yoshi's Island that you're not
But
anyone's
I'm
mom.
Landon's mom.
That's lewd. You know what else is lewd?
Yes, actually.
That you're supposed to tell me. Oh, what else is
What
lewd?
else is lewd, Landon? Laugh track.
No. Oh. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Porn. Anyway, the next game we will quote-unquote shortly talk about is Retro Game Challenge. Originally released for the DS back in 2007 in Japan, and then it was brought over here by Xseed in 2009. Retro Game Challenge is a collection of, you guessed it, retro-styled games, featuring a couple different types of games. You got platformer, you got RPG, you got shmups, some different action games. You play through. You are forced to play through challenges of the games because, you know, some guy hates that you're better at games than them, and he wants you to prove it. And that's basically it. Once you've completed like the challenge that are required of the game by the game like master dude, you basically go on and you can play the full game. So like there's multiple games within this game that are all like technically complete games, including like a 6-hour RPG built inside of this game, which if you like go through and you want to complete like the master like challenge of everything, it like requires you to basically beat the RPG, which is like really fun. All the games are really good in them. There wasn't one like in particular that I didn't care for, which is nice when you have a collection of games, and they all kind of call back to like different styles of games. You've got your Grandia style, your Final Fantasy / Dragon Quest. You got multiple different styles. You got like there's a racing game that's like gonna be like, I don't know, multiple games covered in it. My one complaint is that we never got the second game in the series, because there was a sequel for Game Center CX2. It was released in Japan, but due to the poor sales of Retro Game Challenge out in America, Xseed couldn't get the funding to do number 2 out here.
Yeah, number 2.
Okay,
you're done.
I am done with this part.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that means we're back to Jack.
So the next games we're gonna jerk our dicks off to, but not really though, because that would be we would have to put this on Pornhub, I guess. I don't know. The next game is the Professor Layton series. Just all of them. Fuck it. They're all good. Yeah, just there are 4 games on the DS specifically. On One Future is my favorite. That's the third one. But they're really all good. Really, it's a game. It's kind of like a point-and-click adventure game. You click on things, and you click on things, and that's the whole game. But really, it's like you click on things, you talk to people, and you solve their puzzles, because that's how people exchange pieces of information. It's like, I'll tell you what I know about such and such, but only if you can tell me the solution to this puzzle. I don't know why. But it's a really charming and fun series. Like, the puzzles are just really fun to solve. You play as like Mr. British McGentleman, Professor Layton, who is actually a professor. I don't know why he wouldn't be, but you know, I love the art style in these games. I love the music and just the overall setting in the different games, and the stories, you know, they can get a little ridiculous. There's some pretty dumb plot twists in some of them, namely the first game. But overall, you know, it's a really enjoyable series, and I love these games. So, yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, so next game we're going to talk about is a game that, like, pretty sure a good, like, quarter to a third of people who own a DS have at least played, if not owned, which is New Super Mario Brothers. It's a solid 2D platform. I remember when it was actually advertised. It was around the same time that the DS Lite was on its way out, like being released, obviously not like the end of the console cycle. And they promoted both of them heavily together, and it was a return to 2D Mario, which we hadn't really seen like an actual new 2D Mario game in a while. So it was like, hey, this is cool. And while it has been milked to death, although it has provided solid follow-ups, this was the first game, and it was very solid, good level design. The new aesthetic is, you know, pretty good. I mean, it holds up today. It's still used and still visually pleasing. Oh, and one thing I really, really liked about New Super Mario Brothers is that the mini games on that cartridge are really fun, and doing download plays so that you can have other people play who don't have the game. I remember spending a lot of hours playing the mini games in that game as well. So not only do you have a really fun main game, you have really fun multiplayer mini games that you could play with friends too, which a lot of people, when they talk about New Super Mario Brothers, are talking about the core game, but even like the side stuff that the game provided was good. I mean, it's Mario, so I don't really know what else to say.
I remember, like, this game was a huge fucking deal when it came out because it was the first 2D Mario game since World, and it was like, hey guys, there's a new 2D Mario game, and everyone was just like, oh my fucking god, I want this right now, including me. I bought this game launch day, actually. I was 11 years old. It's weird to think that it's been over 10 years since this game came out, but you know, it in retrospect, the game isn't like outstandingly good, but it is a very solid 2D. But I really only I think the only reason I think that is because like there have been so many sequels in the new series since then, since its initial release, and that's, I don't know, I guess kind of soured my taste on the original. But I still think it's a really good like 2D Mario game, and it holds up really well. Lennon, do you want to say anything?
For the sake of this being a top 20 DS game list, I have nothing to add. Same with how I didn't add anything to Sonic Rush Adventure, because it would defeat the purpose of this list.
Okay, so the next game we're going to talk about, which I'm also introducing because I fucking love this game also, is Elite Beat Agents, which is a really quirky rhythm game. You play as the Elite Beat Agents. You play as the agents who have to basically cheer up everybody who's down and out, and have to help save other people with their everyday problems by dancing and singing. And you have this guy who like sends you out on your missions, and he's like, "Agents are go!" And then you have like these cool like videos of them like dancing and shit, and like, you know, completing their missions while you tap to actual songs, which are, I did not know at first, but they're actually covers, and they're all like really accurate, decent sounding covers.
Never forget that Skater Boy is in this game.
Oh my god, Skater Boy from that's in this game, and it's actually good.
I played it like 7 million times.
Jumping Jack Flash is probably my favorite. It's like the last song in the game.
But September though.
September is also really good. It's a good music selection. It's varied, but it's surprisingly as quirky as the music selection and the story and everything is. It all puts itself into a really good package. Like, I got it for like $5, and I was like, this game is like the best $5 game I've ever bought.
What do you want?
Jack, did you want to say anything? Or
You said
Landon?
everything I wanted to, so I'm good.
Basically, it's a really good rhythm game, and if you want a really good rhythm
It is.
game, there you are.
All right. So that's all I have to say about that. We're moving on to the next one.
The next game
Which
on this
is
list is The Legend of Zelda Phantom Tracks.
Just both of them, because they're the
What?
same game.
They're the fucking same goddamn game. Both of these goddamn games came out the same year of 2007 and 2009, respectively. And they both use the same goddamn principle of you use the touchscreen to move Link around. And yeah, they're the same goddamn game. And I don't think there's anything more I can say on it other than they're the same game. Other than that, they're actually two completely different games, and they cover two completely different stories, and they have different mechanics. But otherwise, they're the same goddamn game.
They're good games, though.
They are.
I
They're
mean-
good. There's a reason why they're on this list, I suppose.
I personally prefer Phantom Hourglass. I don't know, Spirit Tracks just never really stuck with me, but, I really enjoyed maybe really enjoyed is a bit of a stretch, but I do like Phantom Hourglass a lot. But Spirit Tracks is
Spirit Tracks has really good dungeons when you
it does.
get to them.
Spirit Tracks has better dungeons, but Phantom Hourglass has better everything else.
I mean, it is Lineback, so that's a given.
Yeah, of course.
So,
It's not like I want to go on
but-
an adventure with you or anything.
Baka. I'll say this, Phantom Hourglass is still one of the few games I've not 100%ed in the Zelda series, mainly because of one goddamn shooting gallery.
Why is
Fuck that goddamn
it's
shooting
always the
gallery.
fucking shooting gallery in every Zelda game.
I
The
don't
shooting
know.
gallery is the
I don't
worst
know.
fucking thing ever.
I don't know. And yeah, so there was I think, I don't know, a couple months ago I decided, you know what, let's fucking pop in Phantom Hourglass and give it, nope, never mind. Still can't fucking beat it. So, to this day. One millennium I will go in and 100% the game. But otherwise, Spirit Tracks I have gone through and 100%ed. I will say this, they have, I think it's Phantom Hourglass that has the mini game, or the multiplayer aspect where you can remote play with people, and there's a challenge or something Link is trying to do something, whereas another player plays as the night things or the Phantom Guards.
Oh yeah, I
and-
remember that.
Yeah, that I played quite a bit of that, and actually it's pretty fun for a multiplayer.
I never did
aspect.
because I didn't have friends.
I didn't have friends, but I was part of the band, and when you go on band trips and you've got 3 or 4 people that have DSs, you either play Mario Kart DS or the multiplayer for Phantom Hourglass.
All right.
There we go. Next on the list is a game called Big Bang Mini, and it came out originally in 2009, and you shoot things and make fireworks and shapes.
That's it. That's the whole game.
That's the entire game.
The levels have different aesthetics based on different locations. They have also different set pieces. You might have to fire a certain way so that you can actually hit things that are on the top screen. There's also different little challenge modes that you can do. The bosses are fucking brutal, but the last boss is really, really fucking crazy. Really fucking crazy good. In fact, I might actually boot the game up soon to play it again because now I'm remembering
It's a
it.
fucking good game.
But yeah, it's a really solid shooter. Uh,
It's another one of those
And,
games
I
that
mean, it's-
got looked over hard on the DS because
Yeah.
millions of games came out on the fucking DS, and so
Yeah, it's one of those. It's also really simple because literally you just scratch slide the stylus along the screen, or you can also do. I think there's like special stuff you can do if you hold the stylus down. Uh, in a couple of places, I remember that being a thing that you could do, but it's really that simple. You just swipe on the bottom screen, and you're shooting shit. And on a system that has a lot of good games from different genres, it's good that Big Bang Mini was there to represent a genre that doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but is really fun to play.
if you want a good dual screen game that like utilizes both screens well, there you go. Because stuff falls from like the top screen down to the bottom screen, and like things you do like affect it, so it was utilized well. And it's like fucking cheap. It's like $5. Go out, buy it.
So the next game we're going to talk about is Kirby Squeak Squad, which is, well, it's Kirby. It's a 2D Kirby game that for the DS, the core installment that you'd have there. It was a game that we all played and we all liked.
I did.
Also, there was the whole reason that Kirby goes on his quest is because his slice of cake was
Best plot
stolen.
ever. Kirby's slice of cake is stolen. Kirby gets pissed off. Kirby goes on adventure.
And honestly, that's really all you needed. I actually 100% this game. The power-up varieties are really good. I like the eponymous Squeak Squad, and I like how they utilize the bottom screen. You can store different healing items and power-ups. You can also use it where if you have like certain elements like fire, ice, or thunder or whatever, and you combine it with your sword. If you have a sword power-up down there, you can make the fire, ice, and stuff sword. But you can't like it's limited to that. Like you don't get a lot of fusing, but levels are really fun. It's Kirby. What else do I really have to say?
I do like this game a lot. In retrospect, I think I would have preferred to put in Superstar Ultra. I mean, like at first, the reason why I originally didn't put that on my list for like things for the collective list was because I was thinking
because you were avoiding remakes.
And Superstar Ultra is like one of like if not my favorite Kirby game, and I'm like,
I mean, if you want to just talk about it real quick, go ahead.
Go watch the LP.
Go watch the LP.
That,
there it
What
is.
LP?
It's that. What, dude? I complete.
Superstar.
I completed that LP actually.
I think he was just egging at you. He was like, "You didn't do Superstar Ultra. You did Superstar."
That's true, but like, I was gonna say that Superstar Ultra is that game plus like twice the amount of content, and it's like fucking great. I love it. There's like an entire like mode where you go through the fucking like all of the Kirby segments, but you play as Meta Knight, and it's the best. Yeah,
Landon.
that's all.
Landon.
What do you want?
It's your turn to introduce the next game.
No, it's not. It's my turn to touch my DualShock.
Touch your DS.
Touch your heart.
Touch my heart. What fucking list am I supposed to read off today? Whoa. Next up on the docket is Dragon Quest IX: Sentinels of the Starry Skies. Dragon Quest IX, originally released in 2009 for Japan, 2010 for everyone else. It is a Dragon Quest game. If you don't know what a Dragon Quest game is, go fucking find a new format of media to enjoy, because like Dragon Quest is one of those things that you just at least know of. if you haven't played a game before. But it's like a super grindy RPG that you get to make your own characters in and like make your own team, and then you like beat up God or something. I don't know. Someone else say something.
And you're an angel, a fallen one.
A fallen angel that gets to go beat up a god or something. I don't know.
It's a really fun game. You're gonna probably spend like dozens of hours on it because, well, it's Dragon Quest.
Dozens? More like
Hundreds
of dozens.
It actually, I remember there was like an article like some guy actually like 100% the game, and it took him 600 hours to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this.
But
it's crazy.
It has a plethora of content, and it's a solid RPG. And you get to make your party with any characters if you're choosing. So
I don't have anything to say about the game itself because I'm not a huge fan of it, but I noticed the other day that this game has like, I think like 5 million total worldwide sales, and like 4 million of that comes from Japan alone.
It's because it's Dragon Quest. Like, you need no other explanation.
It's their Call of Duty.
And
yeah, like I'm pretty sure there was like this one guy that like I remember reading an article. There was like this guy that like asks his boss specifically for every release day for a Dragon Quest game off, and his boss gives him that day off.
I thought like that was actually just a thing where like people just had the day off on Dragon Quest release day, like everyone in the entire country.
I
wouldn't doubt it, honestly.
But anyway, enough of that.
But anyway,
back to our list thing that we're doing. Yeah, remember that? Because I don't.
No.
It's time for Jack to talk about some stuff.
Next game is Animal Crossing Wild World. I mean, like, I'm a gigantic fan of Animal Crossing, so of course I love this game. Although, that isn't necessarily, like, a guarantee that I love a specific game. Cough, cough, city folk. But no, Wild World is, like, before, like, New Leaf came out, like, everybody's favorite was either, like, the original or Wild World. And I prefer the original just a tiny bit, but Wild World, like, for, like, the sake of having, like, a handheld Animal Crossing game, because, in my opinion, Animal Crossing works better as a handheld game, I think it's a fucking great game. Like, I mean, it's Animal Crossing. It was like, it's Animal Crossing, and on top of that, it was like the first game in the series to have like online multiplayer. I think it had online multiplayer. I'm like 90% sure it did. Either way, it had like local multiplayer, so you could like go to like friends' towns at like the same time, and that was mind-blowing shit. Except I didn't have friends, and I shared a cartridge with my sister, so that was never a thing that I did. But either way, it's the same like hole digging, like tree shaking, flower planting simulator that you know and love. There's like one big gripe that I have with the game. There's no holidays. There's no like actual holidays. I mean, there's no Christmas, there's no Halloween, there's no Easter. And honestly, that makes the game like feel like a little less exciting. Like there's not as much to look forward to, which is kind of why I prefer the GameCube game. But this is still a fucking great game. Otherwise, and I put a shit ton of time into it when I was a kid. And yeah, that's. I think that's all I got to say. Do you want to say anything, Landon?
I like that you can make your own constellations.
Yes, that's a thing that they got rid of, and I wish that they would bring that back.
Yeah, that's one thing that when they bring that back, I will be happy. But no, I think this game does it like Jack said. It's like the first move to a handheld, but it also showed that Animal Crossing like works better on handheld because it has that pick up and play whenever you want mentality. You don't have to be tied to your console and have to like have that like with you, like basically lug that thing around with you when you want to play Animal Crossing, because it's one of those games that you're going to want to sink time into randomly, like on a plane or at a relative's house because, reasons. But you can't because you'd have to, like, bring a console with you. But with Animal Crossing being on a handheld, like, it works better that way. It's just, like, full of, like, I don't know, charm and shit and stuff that makes it, like, Animal Crossing fun.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree about the handheld aspect.
Yeah, so...
Which is what...
And that...
Sorry, go ahead.
Ends this port.
I was just gonna say that's part of the reason why I'm, like, really excited for the inevitable Switch Animal Crossing game.
Because you can have the best of both worlds.
I know.
And I really hope, what I really hope it is Amiibo Festival 2. That's what I really want. That.
Oh, boy.
That's my hope. I really
I
really want that. I really want that.
Okay.
Nintendo, if you're listening,
no.
Amiibo Festival 2.
No, Nintendo, he's not being serious. Please don't listen.
I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead inside right now.
Lennon, on a scale from oatmeal to honey bunches of oats, how cereal are you right now?
Honey bunches of burritos.
Okay, so the next game.
All right, inside jokes later.
Next game on, but that's all the GamingStooges is dumb inside jokes.
That no one else gets.
The next game or games, on our list is the Ace Attorney Trilogy. Yay! Not Apollo Justice though. Not that one. It's not a good game. But specifically the first and third games in the trilogy, I'm not as big of a fan as Justice for All. It's still a good game, but I just kind of like threw them all together because fuck it, it's a good trilogy overall. I fucking love these games. They're like
objection.
Sustained.
Never mind. Go ahead.
They are courts, like fucking what's the word? Visual novel court simulators where you like search for evidence to help you in court, and then you do like cross examinations and shit. And like that sounds boring as fuck, except that it's super fun and interesting because all of the characters are super unique and like charismatic. Although that varies from case to case, but either way, the games are really fun to play because of the characters and writing. Like, that's where, like, the meat of the game lies, as it is a visual novel series. So, but, like, I fucking love the characters and, like, the stories, although they can, like Professor Layton, they can get a bit ridiculous in certain parts. But overall, like, this is like honestly one of my favorite game franchises, like, period. I love these games so much. If you want to play these games, if you're interested, go buy the fucking Ace Attorney Trilogy remaster on the 3DS eShop. I think it's like $30, although sometimes it goes on sale for $20, and it's like $10 for each game is like absolutely worth it.
But what if I'm not interested in playing the series and I want to play a game that involves none of it at all? Then what do I play then?
Well, then you can play the next game on our list, segue for the win. You can catch little monsters and make them fight each other in Pokemon. Specifically, we're going to talk about Pokemon Gen 5, which is Black and White and Black White 2. This is a game that all of us have
Wait. Why are we talking about Black twice? Because you said we're talking about Black and White 2.
Black 2 and White 2.
Thank you.
But anyway, this is a game all of us have played, and by game I mean multiple games because I'm an idiot and I don't know how to words.
No, you don't.
So, Gen 4 is kind of divisive. It's not looked at as particularly bad. It's just not particularly looked at as great by most people. And Generation 5, while a little, still there, a lot of us personally believe it was really fun. The story for the first games was really good, and then while not as good, the story was still kind of decent because it followed the pretty good characters that were in the first game into the second game, and then had really cool gameplay additions and stuff like that. It was also the first Pokemon game that would have fully animated Pokemon as opposed to just a GIF-like animation when they come out of the ball and then just a static sprite. Otherwise, it mostly stuck to the formula. Didn't really add too much mechanically, but it did introduce things that we really appreciate today, like TMs being infinite use. Thank God. And oh yeah, the second game introduced a special free items pocket, which really needs to be in every Pokemon game by now, because I like to have certain items in a pocket where I can just go to them and know what I'm looking at, because the list of items in Pokemon is getting ridiculous. Also, the list of Pokemon are getting ridiculous, but that's a story for another day.
I hate what
I don't want to go on too long about this.
This is literally has nothing to do exactly with Gen 5, but I'll say this: I hate it when they introduce a really good idea in the series, and then they instantly drop it with the next game. Like you were saying with the bag, because they're like, "Hey, this is a really good idea, and people enjoy this. Let's never bring this idea back." What the fuck game?
They did bring it back in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like there's certain like ideas that they like they just drop like a rock because they're like, oh, that's fun.
Oh, also challenge mode and easy mode that they had in Black White 2. Black White 2 had a lot of cool stuff they didn't bring back again. What the fuck?
See? But Gen 5, I enjoy. Yes.
I love these games. I especially love Black 2, White 2. I do remember when Black and White came out, like, they were very divisive, like, among the fans, but, like, nowadays, like, everybody loves them. I don't really have anything to say aside from the shit that, like, Cloud already said, but, yeah, I do like these games a lot.
It's Pokemon. They handle the formula better than most games in the series. Good games.
And they, you can save them, like, within, like, a second.
That's another thing. Oh my god. Gen 4 had, like, the worst, like, saving speed of all time.
But
Not even joke.
But enough about Gen 4. That's not on this list. Moving on.
No, it's not. It really isn't. We're not talking about Gen 4. Let's move on. Landon,
hey,
go ahead and
do you
talk
like
about
blocks?
the next game.
Yes.
Yes.
Well then, do I have a game for you? This is Block Boy. Just kidding. That doesn't exist. This game is Tetris DS. Hey, have you ever played Tetris before? Guess what?
No.
It's the same game.
Yes.
Hey, shut the fuck up, Jack.
No, you.
Okay.
Okay, stop that.
That's what I thought. Tetris DS is the same goddamn game that came out, fucking 1 trillion years ago when God created Tetris and then the world. 2006 is when DS came out. It introduces some new game modes, which you may or may not play. Some of them are like require co-op or whatever. And then there's like some really fun challenge modes. And then there's the main Tetris game. The cool thing about this, and one of the reasons I like this version the most, is because you have like different like old school Nintendo Entertainment System series playing on the top screen while you're playing like the normal DS mode. So Mario will play through like the Mario games, and then you got the levels will switch over to like Zelda, Balloon Fight, like a bunch of different stuff, and it looks really good. The game handles well, and all the game modes are actually like more or less good or great to outstanding, and it does a really nice job, I think, of like showing your stats, because Tetris is a game where you want to know like what your fucking high score in this in particular mode is. And like it does all that plus online. It was like one of the very early DS games, and it featured the Wi-Fi Connect, so you could play against people online, and it's fun. It's Tetris. Need I say more?
All of those things that Landon said, agree.
Pretty much. Okay. Hey Jack. I want to play. So I hate grinding, and I hate capturing things, and I hate angsty teenagers. What is the best RPG on this fucking game?
The best
It's not a
RPG
remake.
on this fucking game.
On this fucking game list.
Game list.
For
That isn't any of those things that he mentioned.
for the
I'm
dual
not sure. I'm
screens.
gonna have to ask Cloud on this one. Wait. Hold on. Can I phone a friend?
You can ask the audience.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the audience, and we will be right back after these messages.
Buy Coke product. Because we're sponsored.
Now back to the show. I'm phoning a friend.
I said ask the audience, goddammit.
Are you seriously doing this right now? Oh, okay. Oh,
Hello?
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 Okay, I'm not gonna do this.
Hello? Okay.
Cloud, what game is he talking about?
He's talking about the next game on the list, Jack. Look at the list.
Look at the goddamn list, Jack.
You're
No, I'm
introducing it.
Jack.
Oh, wait, yes,
yeah,
I am.
You are.
Yeah, you are. Oh my god.
I was looking at the... God damn it.
You were looking at the
Yes,
one
I
after
was.
the one
God
that
damn
we're
it.
doing
okay,
now.
I'm retarded. I completely
Yes.
glossed
Yes,
over the
you
game
are.
I was supposed to read. I was like, oh yeah, it's that game. Cloud, it's your fucking turn.
No, that's why I was like, what are you talking
okay.
about?
I'm an idiot. Pardon me. The next game on our list is Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Not Partners in Time. Fuck.
Jack, what if I want a game that involves
Lennon,
you
wait, hold
going
on.
to the
What
past?
if I want you to shut the fuck up?
What if I place a card face down and end my turn? Fuck
Oh. What could Yugi be planning with that face down card? I'll have to play
it.
extra
I hope
careful.
Jack doesn't. I hope Jack doesn't figure out that it's just my suspended driver's license.
Anyway,
All right, tell us about Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story.
quick because I spent like 5 minutes being a retard. Bowser's Inside Story is a fucking great game where you a very, very unique concept, which I absolutely adore, where Mario and Luigi are shrunken to like microscopic, well, not microscopic size, but like ant size, and they're inside Bowser, and they basically like control. It's like half of the game is like you doing like 2D side scrolling like RPG-ish sections as Mario and Luigi, and you control like Bowser's innards and shit like that, and then the other half of the game is playing as Bowser in the overworld, where you just like roam around and like do whatever the fuck because you're Bowser, and it's like it's so fucking cool. Like the concept of this game is amazing and I love it, and like the dialogue is fantastic, the story is pretty good, the music is fucking great. I don't know, that's really all I have to say. I mean, this is actually like my favorite game in the Mario and Luigi series.
I was gonna say this is like one of my this is probably up there for me as well.
All right, so the next game on our list is the one that Landon was referring to when he mentioned edgy teenagers. But
Thanks, Square Enix.
it is
one character type.
because that's all they know how to make. But thankfully, they know how to make a damn good story, so they make up for their lack of characterization with good story. But anyway, this is The World Ends With You. It was released in what was it, 2008?
Yep.
2008. It is a game where you are I don't remember the specifics, but you end up trapped in this like underworld that's basically actually just like a copy of the Shibuya district of Japan, and you have to go through certain weeks, and you meet different characters, different parts of each week, and you have to basically like get through this like supposed game of sorts, and you can like return if you complete everything or whatever. And the main character, Neku, he's that edgy teenager. He's like super antisocial, and at first he's like the kind of character that like edgy teenager you want to punch him in the face kind of thing. But then him, along with like most of the other characters, they all grow on you, and there's some twists along the way with other characters. But what really grabs me about this game is not even the characters or the story. It's actually the gameplay, because it is incredibly unique. It makes use of the DS's dual screens very well. You actually team up with one person per week, and they play on the top screen while you, as Neku, play on the bottom screen. And you have to, when you fight your enemies, they're on the overworld as what are called noise. Think of Heartless from Kingdom Hearts. You're basically thinking of something around the same thing. You can choose to fight them at your leisure most of the time. And you can do all sorts of stuff with like these pins. The pins that you collect have your certain attacks, and those attacks are activated on the bottom screen by doing, certain things, swipe, or like doing a special circle, or like do like dots or whatever. But a lot of customization with how you want to do attacks in the game. The music is phenomenal. There's like a lot of like jazzy stuff. There's a lot of like cool electronic kind of stuff. There's like actual songs too. But the soundtrack's like really good. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just really good. That and the gameplay, which is really hard to get into at first because it's kind of overwhelming, but once you get into it, it's super fluid and exciting, and it's just really good. Also, you can bump up your stats in like 500 different ways, and you can choose to challenge yourself by lowering your health and other cool stuff like that. But it's a very good game that managed to update the mechanics to its time, and I think it would probably hold up very well today.
But enough about Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. Let's talk about a good...
Oh, God! Ugh.
Everybody's favorite DS RPG. Damn it, I should have said that.
Boom. I win. Hey, how's about another style of RPG? Because the DS had a bunch of RPGs on it.
But this time, instead of edgy teenagers, it stars furry animals fighting other furry animals.
But not the normal style of furry animals fighting furry animals. Thanks, Sonic. How about we do it, I don't know, fucking roguelike dungeon crawler? How's that sound, guys?
Okay. I'm on board.
Excellent. Next up is going to be Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the Explorers series, so of time, darkness, and sky.
Also known as Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Feels.
Feels. The game came out, so the original two, which is Time and Darkness, came out 2007, 2008, depending on where you live. And then Explorers of Sky, which is like the Pokemon Yellow Crystal, the third entry of these, came out in 2009 around the world. Basically, these games, like I said, they are dungeon crawler roguelike games. What is that supposed to mean, Landon? That means you fucking go into a dungeon and you try to not die. And you explore around the dungeon and you try to get to the bottom or the top of the dungeon while beating up enemies that will randomly spawn. And you try to recruit said enemies, which in this game are other Pokemon. The basic premise of the game is that you were a human at one point, and after a short quiz, you turned into a Pokemon, and you are now stuck in the Pokemon world, where you see Pokemon all day and Pokemon all night. And you are trying to become a human again. This is the second game in this type series, and probably still my favorite. of the Mystery Dungeon games is going to be these guys, because they just fucking nailed it on the head with everything. And they blew it out of the park with the story.
Best story, best dungeons, best characters,
Basically.
best writing, best
10 out of 10.
everything, honestly.
10 out of 10, just GameStop review. And I don't know, they've got a lot of charm to them, and, you know, they've got the Treasure Town theme. Jack!
That's gonna sound like an abomination.
Anyway,
The next game
Okay,
on the
all right,
Mario Kart DS. Landon, shut up.
Never. I'll never shut up.
So anyway, if listen,
Okay, I'm done now.
you can't see it, but I'm staring at you super hard right now.
I just whipped my dick
Okay, so
out.
Mario Kart
So,
DS.
yes, if you couldn't hear that over Landon's fucking
Under Landon's fucking?
retardedness.
Was I fucking now? Was I fucking a retard?
The next game on the list is Mario Kart DS. I'm not sure nowadays, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is pretty fucking good, but for a long time, this was my favorite Mario Kart game, and it's still up there. It's definitely top 2 at the very least. This was actually the first Mario Kart game that I owned. Like, before I owned this, I, like, occasionally played Double Dash at, like, a friend's house, but, like, this was the first one that I owned. And, I actually got this at the exact same time that my sister got Animal Crossing, which was interesting. But yeah, I played, like, I played the shit out of this game, when I was younger, and I also fucking sucked at it, and yet I was still somehow able to get gold in all of the fucking cups. Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't have the largest selection of racers, but it's got neat vehicles. It's got some fucking great tracks, in my opinion. Some of my favorites in the series. It's
TikTok clock.
Waluigi Pinball, DK Pass, fucking
I'm still sad they didn't bring back
Airship
Fortress yet.
That course is the fucking bomb. It was the first Mario Kart game to have retro tracks, which would become a staple in the series from then on.
Thank you, Mario Kart DS. That was the best decision ever. I'm not sarcastic, like, that's really good.
This is the only game in the series that has mission mode, and I'm not exactly, like, desperate to have it back, but it would be something that I would appreciate if they did bring it back. I was never able to beat it when I was a kid. I fucking sucked at it. But otherwise, you know, this is, in my opinion, this is a fucking great Mario Kart game. I can understand if people don't like it, because it's a little old and weird, but I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites. Do you two have anything to say about it?
It exists.
Really good course selection, really good game, like, just it handles really well. And I think, honestly, Mario Kart DS is basically how it was basically the precursor to what we would see as modern Mario Kart, which has been, for the most part, better than the Mario Kart games that came before it. So I think we actually owe Mario Kart DS a whole lot more than we would actually realize.
That game anything. It owes me.
It owes
you money.
It owes you money.
It's a terrorist. It's a terrorist that owes me money. And that's all I have to say on that, because it's a fucking terrorist that owes me money.
I think between it, Super Circuit, and 7, it's the best of the handheld games. Although some people might think that 7 is better, I disagree, but whatever.
But Jack,
But Landon, yes, I know you're going to say it has DK Jungle and Super Nintendo Rainbow Road.
that wasn't what I was going to say, but that's more kid friendly, so we'll go with that.
Okay. let's move on.
Anyway, so we're gonna go back to talking about a different thing that we.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
So.
Hey. Didn't we all agree to not talk about remakes?
Hey, guess what?
Well,
fuck that
we
rule.
lied.
Oh wait. We
Also,
never said that in this list. Ha!
I mentioned that we wouldn't talk about Gen 4, but I didn't say specifically what part of Gen 4. We don't really. We're not going to talk about the core Gen 4 games. We're going to talk about the remakes, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, because these are some of the best damn Pokemon games that have ever come out. So we have to talk about them. How do you top like the best Pokemon game? I don't know, fucking remake it. That's how you top it. Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, it's not hard. It's not. There's not a whole lot to say here. It's Pokemon Gold and Silver. It's remade. You can have Pokemon. All your Pokemon can follow you. Like you can have an Onix follow you if you want. I mean, I don't know why you'd have an Onix, but I mean, if you want to follow you, then go ahead.
You're doing a I don't know, a Nuzlocke challenge, and Onix showed up.
The enhanced visuals and sound are really good. The game is a lot more smoothed out with pacing and balancing, so you're not just fighting a bunch of low-level, easy Pokemon like half the game because the game was like, hey, you can go this way or that way. It adds quite a few new areas. It stretches Kanto out back to its regular size, so when you go to Kanto, it's not like this smushed down thing that looks like Snorlax himself just literally sat on the Kanto region and just crushed it. And I mean, it's Pokemon Gold and Silver. That everything else doesn't really need to be like explained. If you like Pokemon Gold, Silver, Heart Gold, Soul Silver is an excellent remake and more modernized, so it keeps up with the times better. Yeah. I don't know if Landon and Jack want to add anything to that.
Said pretty much anything I was going to say. I love these games, just like any sane person does.
But what if I'm crazy and I don't like Pokemon at all, and I want a shitty RPG to play?
Then Landon, you're going to play the final game on our list.
What is it? Is it another remake? Because I love like ports and remakes.
Yes, it is.
These are my favorite things. Oh, really? Let me fucking okay. It's the Sonic Classic Collection.
Yes. We're gonna talk about that.
Yes, got it in one. So Chrono Trigger is an RPG that came out for the DS in 2008. 9, if you live in the PAL region.
Speaking of which, this version of the game is actually the first time Chrono Trigger was ever released in Europe.
That is true. And
R.I.P.
Hey, why is this game on this list? Well, first of all, Chrono Trigger is one of the best fucking games, period.
Of all time.
Yeah. And if you disagree with that, I'm looking at you, Game Informer.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
For real.
And if you don't disagree with that, and then you're like, but wasn't that a Super Nintendo game? What did this add? I mean, I guess I can see the point of putting the Pokemon games because they're flat out remakes. What's the fucking point of this? Because it's the fucking best version of it, because you have the fucking cutscenes from the PS1 game, but you don't have the fucking load times. Plus they have that stupid Pokemon, like, added on bullshit, whatever, that doesn't really matter. And then they have got extra dungeons that you can fucking play through. It's Chrono Trigger is Chrono Trigger, and if you need me to explain that to you, I won't, because I'm not getting paid to do this. So I'll have someone else explain Chrono Trigger if they feel the need to.
I don't really think that we need to say anything about Chrono Trigger in all seriousness. It's one of the best fucking games ever made.
Good.
Yeah, I don't see the need. Cloud, do you want to add anything? I mean, you can if you want, but I don't see the need.
Oh, well, I guess I can just mention that it does have some bonus features over the base game.
But I said that already.
You have...
I already said that. The stupid Pokemon thing, and then the extra dungeons.
Okay, as long as you mention the extra dungeons, because that's the important
Yeah,
thing.
really. I mean, the stupid Pokemon thing doesn't really matter, and if that wasn't in this version, that still wouldn't make this like this still would be the best version. But the extra dungeons makes up for that, and then obviously the cutscenes and like the lack of load time also like is why this basically is fucking game of choice, and it's relatively the easiest version to find before they ported it to the fucking phone, because DS is fairly cheap and the game is fairly cheap instead of buying like a Super Nintendo and then like a $80 game. And I know I'm glossing over the PS1 is fairly cheap, and you could probably get the PS1 version cheap, but don't play that version. That's all I'm saying. That ends the list. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit us up in the like button down below. If that's not where you can leave comments, then like us in the comment section to the side of the video now, because YouTube has finally gotten my millions of letters saying, hey, we should move the comments. If you don't agree with any of that, then go to our Facebook page and unsubscribe and like to that. And if you don't agree to that, follow us on Twitter, or follow Jack on Tumblr, because he has a very nice blog on that.
Where he actually don't.
Basically posts all my quotes and random pictures of hot dogs.
You know what? I want that to be a thing now. It's like a picture of a hot dog and then like one of your quotes over it.
Exactly.
God, I need to do this now. Shit.
And if you hate all of that, let us know your choices for 20 DS games that are good. Maybe we missed one because, we theoretically, 3 of us could only put 20 games on a list, and this is what we decided to be a good representation of the DS. I don't know, maybe we should have added Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. I'll never tell.
That's going to be the first post. It's going to be like a picture of a nice hot dog. It'll say, I'll never tell. So anyway, that concludes the list. Thank you for watching. Good night.